Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beat the Banks, free community training from Beacon DeFi, your beacon in the world. My voice cracked. Your beacon in the world of decentralized finance. I'm your host, Professor Chris. We're here every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, to just kind of give you some education with regards to, what is decentralized finance. And if you are curious about having your money work for you and you own some crypto or digital assets, what you can do. Uno momento as I just need to RT that we live. Oh, actually, I just found something I need to get into real quick. Ah, man, too many Discord servers. Anybody know what that's like? It's not cool. For those that don't know, there's like an actual limit to the number of Discord servers you can be in. Even if you have Nitro, it's 200. And I have Nitro. I'm a long time purveyor of Nitro. And yeah, I need to leave a server, which is unfortunate because I don't want to do that. I mean, that also tells you why I'm in a lot of Discord servers. Shout out to all of my fellow Discord server creators and friends. One thing that, and here's a fun little tip. If you use Discord a lot and you're trying to research a lot of projects, create your own Discord server. You can easily do that through the interface where it's just yours. And then if you go into projects that you like, but you may not necessarily want to be in their Discord server because you get pinged a ton, you can follow their announcement channel in your own server. And that is something that I do. I have a personal Discord server that I have that has roughly 60 to 70 different announcement channels that I'm following. And I'd like to give that as a tip for people who are looking for a tip, something you can do. So that way you have one spot where you have all of your Discord announcements in. I'm sure you could possibly even code something or vibe code something that could make it so you have it come to your have an announcement come to your inbox or something like that at some point. But yeah, there's a tip for you. All right. So the title of today's Beat the Banks is let's talk about the next 100 days. We're roughly about 100 days until the end of the year, a little bit less than that. So talked about this earlier on our town hall call, also on our mastermind roundtable call last night. I won't go into that, that depth of strategy on this call because it's kind of honestly outside the scope. But what I will do is we'll talk a little bit about narratives and kind of see where we're at from that standpoint. So looking at crypto bubbles, and maybe I should go to the smaller version of the screen. Maybe if I take this from the left. Doop, 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 doop. Heh, heh, heh. Ultimately, a lot of what you're seeing here is really just a lot of ideas on what could become narratives. I'll be honest, we're getting into Q4. There's a lot of things that to me have kind of come up that were a bit unexpected, if I'm being honest. I didn't think that we'd be in the midst of a huge perp dex war. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, a perp dex is essentially a decentralized exchange where you can trade perps or from a high level DeFi options. Essentially, in my opinion, I said this earlier, we're kind of at an interesting inflection point to where the everyday person might find out about perps a lot sooner than later. And the reason for that, and I need to find it, um, from KBW, which is Korea Blockchain Week, which is going on this week. Hello to everybody who probably is asleep right now if they're not at some type of nightclub event out in Korea, in South Korea. Essentially, they're holding events where they have multiple people from perp dexes, or just traders that are using different perp dex platforms, and they're trading against each other, like in like a nightclub or an esports arena with crowds. And I'll be honest, that sounds boring as hell to me, but to some people they find it thrilling. Um, One of my favorite little games on, and shout out to Abstract. I am approved to stream there. Let's see if I can get Roach Racing Club. I don't play the game enough, to be quite honest, but Roach Racing Club is a fun little game where you actually can. It's generally just on I believe it's on the Bitcoin chart, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, well maybe we can do more than that. Let me claim my points here. I don't need all this. Got it. Yep. Do I not even have? Oh, I do have enough. Good. No, I don't. I just want to play missions. Well, anyway, the way that it works is that you race these roaches against each other, and you take long or short bets on, like, I think the 1 second chart or the 1 minute chart, and probably the 1 second chart. And as long as you're guessing correctly, long, up or down, your roach goes faster. Uh, I'm at 100%. I'm thinking that I'm like, am I in the wrong spot? Anyway, regardless, competition where people are bidding against each other, trying to out trade each other. So, um, is this the moneymaker moment for Texas Hold'em? I don't know, but I tell you what, perp dexes are becoming, with Aster here up 5.5, hype up almost 5.5 as well after eating a lot of big whales selling their positions at the beginning of the week. Congrats to hype for kind of looking at it. But if we look at it on the year, this is a really bad example, honestly, on where things are. Let's go to month. Also, not the best look. It is what it is. Okay, so for the week, Astra, of course, is up on the day, fairly green, with Plasma up 21% because they launched, and that's kind of part of the next 100 days as well. But what I was going to do is, if you don't have a ton of capital and you're looking to get into DeFi, um, more talk about what you should most likely be considering doing. For a lot of people, they don't quite understand the dynamics of a lot of trading or meme coin trading, right? Because I think, at least from what I've seen, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. A lot of people, when they think about crypto, they think about hitting that 100x. They think about Bitcoin. Maybe they think about Ethereum or Solana or Avalanche, for example. And they hear about, people are going and just, trading and making 1,000x's on things. That's an aspect, or it may be NFTs, right? Those are an aspect of being on chain, but it's far from being the norm of being on chain, right? There's a lot of interesting things you can do that will far outperform what you have there locally, like in your regular bank account. Uh, August, yeah, August 15th, which was roughly about a month, about 5 weeks ago. I did beat the banks that week on DeFi savings accounts. Definitely check that out, because the first thing I'll lead with is that stablecoin farming. While some people will probably poo-poo it, just think, yeah, whatever, it's viable, and people who don't think so are kidding themselves. It's just an amazing thing to see the ability to have, leveraged positions on stable coins earning in excess of 100%. Now, I'll show you this, but I just want you to understand that these aren't the norm, but a lot of people farming stable coins can create some interesting ideas. It's back to 100%. The idea that you can have a stablecoin position, this is technically a Pendle PT for USDAI that expires on 20th November. To run this as a stablecoin leverage play for 153%, to go and cash out by November 20th on this Pendle PT is this is the stuff that dreams are made of. This was not possible a year ago. This was not possible anywhere near 2 years ago, right? Um, the ability to take, where's another good example? 229 for USDT 0, USDC 16x lev, 229. These are stablecoin farms, guys. Now, I have to obviously temper that expectation because a lot of it is due to demand. The demand is pushing the rates super high. Even Euler Earn, which is, what we consider what we call the DeFi savings account in our group, 13%. It was 25 yesterday, by the way. A lot of it has to do with the utilization, the demand for these assets. And again, I say this a lot. It really depends on what feels real to you. What would be the reason for you to come and earn 25% of your money to continue funding your trips to the DeFi meme coin casino, whether it's NFTs, trench coins, even content creator meta, internet capital token meta, that type of stuff? I see a lot of posts on my timeline about people round tripping. That's the idea that you have bought a token and then you watched it go up. You didn't take profits at all on the way up because you're like holding it for that big crazy thing. And then whatever happens, happens, and it comes crashing back down and you're actually underwater. Or it comes back and then you're exactly back where you started. That's a round trip. It's a gross feeling. For some people, they're happy it's that way, right? But that's without doing anything in that time frame, you've left a ton of money on the table. And there are people who are chronic round trippers. And I don't, I figure once is enough for me. Out after the first time, because I have round trip stuff, of course. I look for ways to prevent that from happening again. There's tons of ways to do it. I guess I should do the ad for what we do, right? Why does it look like this? All right. Total value locked. Absolutely free to join. This is our free group from Beacon DeFi. If you are curious to know more about how to stop round tripping, what other strategies are out there to make sure that you're taking profit, getting into LPs, getting into some of these stablecoin farms, how to figure that out. Happy to assist you with that. We have plenty of free content. If you want to take our Beacon Challenge, make your first dollar in DeFi within 48 hours, you're welcome to do that. Or if you want to be the best, and you know, work with us in our Beacon Mastermind, get to be mentored by me, you can do that. School.com/beacon. But yeah, we have plenty of free content, great community. If you're looking to figure out the best ways to do things, join us. Happy to talk to you. If you don't have a ton of money, that's okay. I know people are like, I don't really have a ton of money. You don't need a ton of money, guys. Because thankfully, or at least hopefully, most of you have jobs. And you can start and you'll get much better returns than you ever will in a CD, in a 401k right now, in an annuity, and maybe even in a dividend fund. You should have all those, though. Let me be honest. You need to have a diversified portfolio. There are a lot of people like, I have a ton of real estate properties. Good for you. Diversify your portfolio. Why? Because real estate's illiquid. You got to find someone to buy it in order to make money, or rent it in your case, right? If you have a property that's just sitting there, you don't earn any money. NFTs are the same way, by the way. Yes, it has great value. You can do things with it to earn additional value. But when it comes to liquidity, you got to find someone who's willing to buy it at the price you want them to buy it at, right? So this is DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Let me put this out a little bit. The way DePIN works is that these are all projects that utilize blockchain for their infrastructure needs. And you may have heard of some of them. Helium Mobile is definitely one. Render is another. Grass might be one you may have heard of. There's hundreds out there, honestly. Dimo, however you pronounce that, DIMO, that's a DePIN network. And in general, what normally happens is that you have a device, and then you buy it, and then it's more of an ROI thing. Some others that have been around for a minute that you may have heard of, like Deeper VPN. You buy a device that you can use locally as a VPN that finds some type of residential proxy or something out there to help you. And again, it's nothing wrong with a VPN. And I recommend everybody has one because privacy is a fundamental human right, in my personal opinion. What's another one? Our friends at Nubula Network. They have, well, where's the Marco? Right here. This thing's tiny. I met one of their guys in Denver at I think the BitVM event. This thing fits in the palm of your hand. It's tiny, super tiny. This makes it look like it's big. It's small. It's only about this big. It's an anemometer with and some more sensors that are fit into this housing with a wireless connection of some sort. You can hook it up to a solar panel. You can hook it up to just batteries. And basically, it's a local weather station. It provides hyperlocal data to Nubula, which they go and then sell to Weather Channel. All kinds of modeling things. I think the people in the BitTensor ecosystem as well utilize Nubula data, but this is a device that's considered an ROI device, return on investment. You buy one of these, I believe it's $299. $299. And then you earn coins as it's going, right? That's kind of the cool thing because I don't know this. Like, for example, you go to Weather Underground, right? And they have what's called a sensor network. And you can get a personal weather station How much is the Brainwise personal weather station direct to weather underground? Well, I'm here in Mexico, and $9.99, $1,000. And here, I don't know if you actually earn any money for that. Like, I don't know if you actually earn any money being a part of the sensor network. Join our network. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about paying you back, right? Whereas if you get something, like the Marco, you do get tokens in return. That is, liquidity. Let's say they have temperature, humidity, air pressure, wind speed, and UV. And there's a couple ways you can earn money here. If you don't want to buy the Marco, which you may not want to because of the ability of devices to break, that's fine. Nubula also has nodes. Um, where you can help secure the network, provide services for that, and also earn a piece of the pie. They're a little bit more expensive than the Marco, but you don't have to worry about placing it somewhere, device maintenance. So, like I said, one way you can do that. In any case, it's one of hundreds of projects that are verified here on deepinhub.io that are available for you to contribute. And you can contribute in multiple ways. You could buy a device, something like that, or you can contribute things like compute. For example, if you want to, if you've ever heard of Folding at Home, which is from SETI, it's a NGO, non governmental organization that helps to cure cancer by using crowdsourced materials to help fold proteins to help solve problems. That's certainly something that you can do. Now, like I said, there's hundreds of different things here. So, user favorites. Grass is one. Grass is where you tie in your residential um, internet. So if you let's just say, for example, you live by yourself, but you have 2 gigs, or you have Google Fiber or something like that, or you have a lot of bandwidth. You can actually earn tokens, the Grass tokens, for example, for just allowing them to use your network to help train AI models. That's really what you're doing. You're helping train data. There's a variety of things, right? All of these do something a little bit different. Natix. We have one of our community leaders, Greg, wrote an article about Natix and how they're trying to revolutionize mapping and autonomous driving by helping with their technology create information that AI can use for different things. Hivemapper is one that is a long-standing one, and a lot of these actually, if they don't have their own blockchain that they use, which most of them kind of do, but a lot of them go to Solana specifically for that. Uh, and what's great about this, and this uses Solana, is that you get a token that you earn, and you can actually, instead of just holding it and cashing out, you can actually put them into LPs. That exists. That's a real thing, specifically for things like Hivemapper, where you earn the honey token. Uh, but yeah, it's great to see a lot of these different projects that are available. There's 188 here specifically, and they're all vetted. We've already talked about Helium. For those who are unaware of Helium, they're not really doing residential stuff anymore because now they work with AT&T. Helium.io? Nope. Helium Mobile. Why do I not have this in my HNT is at 223? Man, remember when they were at $14? Man, those were the days, right? So they started off as these hotspots. They can originally created them. Then they had people. I'm sorry, they had people allowed to create them. Then they went third party, and there are multiple third party places that create the hotspots. They were really meant for providing witness hotspots through their chain for Internet of Things infrastructure. So smart parking meters, Nest thermostats, all of that data being pushed around, getting more crowdsourced data out there, and you got the Helium token uh, as something for that. I don't know if they've necessarily pivoted from that because they had a token happening August of 2021. I want to say, yeah, and they probably have had another since then. But if they kind of abandoned that and went the 5G route, this is for the IoT stuff. But now they have carrier offload with HNT and crowd built cellular through these 5G femto cells. There's indoor and outdoor, and you can buy them, and you just use them, and they're used as 5G relayers, right? They help with carrier offload so that you can use them for, well, people can use your bandwidth to help make 5G networks stronger, right? And now, oh wow, there's more than 379,000 now. Good for them. It only took them 5 years to get to that spot. But you get the mobile token or the HNT token, depending on which one. And again, it's about buying one of these things, which is roughly between, I think this is 399, this is 899. And you're in an ROI perspective, right? Where you're trying to take the profits and get the ROI back on it. So it's not necessarily passive until you get past that portion. And then once you do that, maybe we're in a situation where it does become somewhat passive. With how quickly things move, I just don't know if that's really the way to go about it with that specifically. But there are other things here. I met these guys in Denver, GeoNet. Basically, you have a device that helps with GPS technology, and you get paid for it in their token, which is Geod, and it's available on multiple blockchains. So that part's cool too. So, oftentimes for most people, they're looking for the quick bang for the buck. So if you're looking for something in the next 100 days to get into and you don't have a ton of capital and you're looking to find asymmetric upside in a couple different places, consider looking at some stuff here in the DePIN section because DePIN's not going away, especially with what's called internet creator markets or internet capital markets where they're trying to bring Web 2 brands into Web 3 specifically with their own token so that they can have their own following. We've seen that a lot with things on Solana. Avalanche in particular is trying to use their L1 platform where you can create a layer one blockchain in less than 5 minutes. I think it's less than a minute now, but being able to provide that as a service for brands is something that's going to be huge. And a lot of people love the idea of using blockchain technology for a lot of operations for their infrastructure. A, because it's fast, and B, it's for the most part fairly cost effective. But C, it's transparent, right? Which is this that's the one thing. In Web3, with blockchain technology, you own your data. And that's the one thing that people are angling towards with this. So if you want to have your own revenue streams, own your own data, then Web3 and DeFi is where you want to go. Now, Web3 is just the overall market term for that. DeFi specifically is where in decentralized finance, you can turn these investments into passive income revenue streams, which you can then manage. They're what we call yield farming. It's not trading. Okay. So let me see if it's any better. Let's see. So we have Plasma today. It's not bad. 15% for supplying, 12.45. And what's great about this is unlike a liquidity pool, that you would normally, balance two assets off of, these are single-sided. So A, there's no impermanent loss, and B, these are auto compounding positions. So your position is just going to grow over time. And the one thing that people love about DeFi is, depending on when it is, we compound daily for the majority of positions. And that's something that opens a lot of people's eyes up to the potential. Because when you compound daily, then you're like, oh, okay. Compounding, $10 a day off of an initial $1,000 investment. I mean, that you can do the math, right? So really, we're just trying to build snowballs, honestly. And you've got 100 days. And the reason why I'm not making a huge deal about it, but guys, if there's a time to be in DeFi, it's now. We're in a situation where the world's okay, right? We could be a little weird if we actually have some sort of regional war happening between Russia and NATO. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of tensions with Israel, but there's a lot of interesting things happening. For those who support a lot of what the president's doing with regards to the idea that they could use stablecoins, specifically RWA based stablecoins or real world asset tokenized stablecoins, which in most cases with RWAs in that context is based off of T bills. You get to have access to that in DeFi. There are talks that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent wants to be able to handle as much of the debt, the deficit, using stablecoins as possible. Depending on how you look at that situation, they could actually have a pretty interesting measure of success. I don't think it happens anytime in the next couple of years, but like 3 to 5 years down the road, it could be a very important part of the puzzle on helping at least the idea that digital assets and stablecoins are going to be a part of the economy moving forward. So understanding how that works now and getting into the space now ahead of that, I think is very important. The other reason why it's important, guys, is that Chairman Powell, who's the current chairman of the Federal Reserve, his term ends in May of 2026. And he is not coming back. He is not coming back for sure. President Trump will have someone that he likes in that position soon, and hopefully someone, when it comes to what he likes, means that he wants to lower rates significantly from what the federal funds rate is right now. So that means that risk on assets are going to go pretty much up and to the right once that person comes into position. Now, again, it may not happen right away, but the idea that someone who's going to come in and be fairly aggressive about cutting rates due to presidential mandate, there's good and bad from that. Let's be honest. But for risk on assets and what they want to do with what they've been talking about is going to be a very interesting move. So you want to be here in DeFi, getting positions started ahead of that, playing the narratives ahead of that. If you play the narratives correctly over the next 100 days, you can have a fairly sizable war chest moving forward. For those who've been with us for a while, and if you're watching me for the first time and if you've been in DeFi before and you're very curious, MetaMask has stated that they're going to have an airdrop soon. So you could be rewarded for coming back and waking up your MetaMask account. Rabby, who we recommend now for EVM wallets, they're having a token coming soon. Phantom from Solana has been having thoughts of a token forever. Rainbow Wallet is having one. Our partners at Talisman Wallet, who are the best wallet, in my opinion, for BitTensor, Polkadot, and they also have ties to EVM and now to Solana. And they're looking to be agentic. If you watch our Twitter space from 2 weeks ago, we had Robert, who's part of the team there, on to talk about that. They're looking to do their token sometime in the next 3 weeks. And we've been farming the hell out of that. Same with the Meteora airdrop. We've been farming the hell out of that for the better part of 2 years. So ultimately, we're going to be looking at a pretty decent Christmas, in my opinion. October, let's hope that as long as everything is working in the right directions, we'll live up to its promise. We on our Wednesday podcast, our TVL podcast, at the end of October, called the bull market, the structural bull market beginning at the end of October in 2023. Look where we are now. And it's going to get bigger. Regardless of people trying to manipulate, tweeting, spreading all kinds of FUD. What is I had a link for it. There it is, cryptotreasuries.app. I bookmarked it. Thought I did. I'll bookmark it now. If there's a reason I'm bullish, guys, it's this. And I apologize, my little VPN vacation is probably causing a lot of this. But there's a lot of companies that are investing their war chests into digital assets. Publicly traded companies across multiple exchanges across the world are forming parts of their full treasury, not their full treasury, but parts of their treasury through through SPACs, we'll call them SPACs, through special vehicles, through PIPEs, which is private investment in private equity or public equity, private equity, multiple deals, private placements, things like that. We've had full groups actually change their names because they're now ETH treasury companies. For example, some of these, where's a good one? Yeah, DeFi Dev, for example, is one. They were called something else before they created DeFi Development Corp, and now they're the largest holder of Solana that's out there in terms of an entity. You can, of course, check out their net asset value against their market cap here, and do all that math. But the point is, these things are forming, and they're forming quickly. Wow, we've got more hype companies. This used to be called iVision. Yeah, they made ophthalmology equipment. Realized how big Hyperliquid's going to be with regards to perpdexes. Have rebranded as Hyperion DeFi. They were part of members of their group were part of the group that won the stablecoin lottery for USDH in the Hyperliquid battle a couple weeks ago. There's a Litecoin treasury company. Cool. There's even one for WorldCoin because they're super excited. They were called 8Coin Holdings. Now they're just called Ocho because they were really excited about what people are doing. We just saw one with Caliber. Now they're going to be, I think they're rebranding, but they're a Chainlink treasury company. There's one for Tronink, of course. This is famous because they took Justin Sun went in and reverse merged with a company. All they do is they have an office in Orlando. They make swag for the entertainment industry, like water bottles for your favorite animated cartoon and stuff like that. Now they're Tronink. XRP treasury companies. Yeah, I haven't heard of Web US, but I've heard of Vivo Power. Yeah, this is going to continue to happen, guys. These guys don't make these decisions in a vacuum. They understand the mission. They understand what's going to be happening in the future. If you decide to just kind of sit back and wait for things they're just going to pass you by. Your goal is to get into this stuff as quickly as possible not as a treasury company, but to just literally just get in. These are this is stock exposure, guys, of what you're getting in. Why not just go and buy the actual thing? I tell people that all the time. Like, it's cool that they have this, but why not just go and buy Bitcoin? If you have exposure to this, and obviously not tax advice, not financial advice, none of this is. Again, why not just go buy the actual asset as opposed to just buying stock from a company who's looking to profit on it? I get the whole strength in numbers play. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't make as much sense to me to allow these guys to create supply shock things. And maybe they will, and that's better for everybody. But go and buy the asset if you want to be a part of that, right? Because of things like this, 10K ETH is on the table. Because of things like this, $1,000 Sol is on the table. Because we've got companies who are positioned to take advantage of those prices, right? And this list is going to grow. So, again, the next 100 days are going to be very interesting. Not only just for the fact that we're going to have all these DePIN projects, treasury companies, airdrops, but we also are in a world where stablecoin farming is going to be a big thing. Now, these rates are a bit different, but this rate, okay, it's back up. It was 41% yesterday. We're back up to 33. This is a supply position at Aave with more than nearly 70 billion in assets under management, offering on Plasma, which launched yesterday. It's a layer one dedicated not directly, but dedicated specifically to stablecoins, USDT in particular, offering you 33% to just park your money there. Now, your rewards are paid in XPL, but XPL is doing pretty well. That's the gas token for Plasma. And if you are long on tech like this, if you're long on the mission of what they're doing with Plasma, whether or not you're a fan of Bitfinex, who's the group that brought them here, tell me, in what universe will you ever get anything on Wall Street or your bank account or your savings account to ever get a sniff of this number? You're not. But you can if you get in now. This number will fluctuate because more people are coming. Of course, the more that's in here, the less there's going to be. Now, I've already done a position here just to show you I mean, if you just go put $25 a month in here off of 33% APY, just think about where that's going to be in after your 100 days, right? Even though it's not a ton, it's something. It's more than you're ever going to make with a CD. So keep that in mind. Anyway, next 100 days are going to be interesting. What are we at on Fluid now? Was it 19 down to 17? Okay. So you got really great stablecoin farming. You got DePIN. We've got fun little games like Roach Racing, Pudgy Party on Abstract Chain. We've got, I already mentioned DePIN. We've got these treasury companies already coming out and buying the assets that, frankly, if you're looking for an altcoin to buy one from this list. Why? Because there's already people putting millions, if not hundreds of millions, into companies like this. Where's the AVAX one? I don't see the AVAX one. But Scaramucci, Anthony Scaramucci, you know, that 10-day period that now is called a Scaramucci. That's not it. AgriForce. That's the name of the company. They're a publicly listed company on the NASDAQ. They're going to be now called AVAX One Inc. And they're looking to raise 550 million. 250 is going to be a private placement through VC money. Don't care about that. But everything else is going to be there's 300 million being raised in a PIPE, which is a private investment in private equity. So that's going to be interesting to see how that rolls out. But yeah, I mean, these things are coming, guys. One second. I was trying to talk to my wife. She was leaving. But anyway, the future's coming, guys. The next 100 days are going to be interesting. We even talk about XRP for those of you who are curious about XRP. You can do some stuff with your XRP. Again, feel free to check out our Start Here post. School.com/beacon is the link. Absolutely free to join. Learn from the best of the business. Check out our free content. Check out our Start Here post. And then the latest post here from our friend Moses is about Flare, which is a platform that has some XRP on it. And I did respond with some newer stuff that's coming with XRP. So, depending on what you hold, there's plenty of things to do in DeFi to get your money working for you. And really, that's the key, right? You can hold. Feel free to time the market. What if you can hold and also have some of that working for you, earning passively while you wait? That's my argument. If you just want to hold, time the market, keep doing your thing, go ahead. But for those who have actual, ideas of creating passive income off your digital assets, there's a lot of ways to do it. And we can definitely show you the way how to do it. All right. So this is what we do every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, guys. That's all I got for today. Thanks for joining us again. The next 100 days are going to be crazy. We're going to see more of these things start popping green for sure. And again, if you're looking for a spot, if you're trying to figure out if the one thing you took away was what should I buy, because that's something that's on your mind, you can choose anything from here. You can also choose anything from here, but you need to do your research as to what the narrative is to hold those for that long. But there's a lot of things going on here. So yeah, we do this show every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We've been doing Beat the Bank since 2021, January of 2021, exactly, of 2022, sorry, specifically. So, we've helped tens of thousands of people get into this space. I drive a minivan. I'm not here to get a Lambo. I'm just here to help people. We're here to be a resource. Guys, anyone can get access to this. You should have access to this. Everyone you know should have access to this. It's not hard to get into, to be quite honest. It's gotten easier and easier. And right now is the perfect time to do so. So come out and join us. Come play. But I say that in all seriousness. One thing we tell people all the time is to treat this like a business, like an actual side hustle. Why? Because you're going to be taxed like it, regardless of how you look at investing. So just do it the right way if you're going to do it. Don't come out here, spend $1,000 on a really crappy meme coin and call it a day, because that's not the way to do it. There's a real way to do it, and we've got plenty of people in our community who can attest to that. Our best members make 4 to 5 figures passively every month. At some point, you can too. Have a fantastic weekend, guys. We're on our way into the beautiful part of the sports ecosystem, sweater weather, all the great stuff that I love about this time of year. We should get some turning leaves soon too. So enjoy your weekend, touch some grass, and we'll see you next time. Beacons up, banks down. Take care, everybody. Keep beating the banks. Have a great weekend.